folks, welcome back. This is your Week 14 NFL picks for 2023 NFL football season. Last week we went 9-4, gives us a total record of 122-73 for the season, right around 63%. So anytime you get up above 60%, that's always good. I'm going to throw out a little trivia for you. Tonight's game actually, at one point, was the lowest ranked total over-under for points since in the last 30 years, since a certain year. If you happen to know it offhand, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I will reveal it at the end of the video. So let's jump right in. And again, that aforementioned game this evening, it was down to 29.5 for the over-under. They're not expecting a whole lot of scoring in this one tonight. So it might not be much of an event to really get excited about. Nevertheless, New England at Pittsburgh. New England's, of course, 2-10. Pittsburgh is 7-5, both coming off of losses, of course. Pittsburgh's favored by 5 in this one. Definitely got to take Pittsburgh in this. They're the home team. New England can't score. It's going to go Pittsburgh's way. So that over-under right now is sitting at 30.5, but it was 29.5 earlier this week. And then we go into the Sunday games, the early games. We've got Tampa Bay at the Birds of Atlanta, the Blackbirds of Atlanta. They are 2.5-point favorites, as are the Falcons. And the Pirates are, 5-7, and the Falcons are 6-6. Over-under in this one's 40.5. So this divisional battle would actually be for the lead in that division, the NFC South. But I don't see Atlanta letting this one go. I think Atlanta will prevail in this one, especially at home. They've got that home crowd there and the choo-choo noise after every touchdown. So they'll get psyched and they'll get amped up for this one. I think Atlanta will win, and I think Atlanta will cover. And again, just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only. No gambling involved whatsoever. Just straight up for fun. And then we go to Detroit at Chicago. Definitely going to take Detroit in this. Chicago, I just don't have the faith, even though they're at home, that they're going to be able to pull off and beat Detroit. So Detroit is a 3.5-point favorite in this one. Total over under 42.5. I'm going to go ahead and go with Detroit, and I think that they will cover, in fact, the 3.5. So Detroit it is. And then we've got the horses of Indianapolis traveling, the baby horses of New Indianapolis traveling into Cincinnati. Very close, not very far for them to travel to Cincinnati, where Cincinnati is favored by 1.5. Over under here in this one of 43.5. This one was the line on this one swung a couple of times. It was Indy by 1. Now it's 1.5 by for Cincinnati. I'm going to take Cincinnati in this one. I know that's kind of difficult to understand, but they did do a great job against Jacksonville there on Monday night, and I think that they're going to be able to prevail against the Colts there in Cincinnati. And then that brings us to Jacksonville at Cleveland. This one, the over-under is 31.5, so not much better than the over-under expected for tonight's game between the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Steelers and New England Patriots. Jacksonville is a 3-point underdog in this one on the road. They're not sure if Trevor Lawrence will play. It's probably doubtful that he will play. So you're looking at 2 backup quarterbacks. Not a whole lot of offense going on in this one. Cleveland's favored by 3 in this one. I'm not even sure that they'll cover that, to be honest. With this being such a low scoring game, I think that's going to be a defensive battle, and I do think Cleveland will prevail. I just don't know about that point spread. So Cleveland it is. And then we've got Carolina, the Kittens of Carolina, traveling into New Orleans to face the Saints in another NFC South battle. The Saints are favored by 4.5 in this one, over under 37.5. So again, not a lot of scoring expected in this one. I'm going to go with the home team on this. Carolina, again, a 1-win team this year. They're 1-11. I'm definitely going to take the Saints on this one. And then we've got Houston at the Fast Airplanes of New York. The Houston Texans are 3.5-point favorites on the road in the Meadowlands there to take on the Fast Airplanes, New York Jets. The over-under in this one's 33.5, another very low expected total number of points scored. So you've got Houston favored by 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and take Houston in this one. I think they will prevail on the road in New York. They've already announced that Zach Smith would take the starting role back this week. So I don't have a lot of faith in him whatsoever. Gonna go definitely with the Houston in this one. That brings us to the Rams of Los Angeles at the Ravens, the Blackbirds, and the more Blackbirds of Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 7.5 in this one, and the over/under in this one is a little bit low. I'm surprised, 39.5. I think it'll probably go over that over/under, but 7.5 is a fat line for Baltimore at home. I'm thinking Baltimore will win. I just don't know that 7.5 is going to be covered. So Baltimore it is. And then we've got the Vikings sailing their pirate ship down to the desert Southwest to face the Las Vegas Raiders, right down the road from me here in Allegiant Stadium. The Vikings are a 3-point favorite here. 40.5 is your over-under. The Vikings are a game better than the Raiders at the Vikings are 6-6 and the Raiders are 5-7. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call an upset here, and I think that the Raiders will be able to pull this one off at home. They'll pull them up to 6-7. I think that they're going to play some inspired ball at home under Antonio Pierce. So I'm going to call the upset and go for the Raiders in this one. And then that brings us to Seattle at San Fran. Forget it. Seattle has no chance in this one. Boy, the way they've been playing, it's just there's no way they're going to be able to play. Plus, they also played these two teams played like 2 or 3 weeks ago on Thanksgiving. So definitely going to take San Fran. San Fran, the line is 10.5 in favor of San Fran. That actually seems a little low. I think San Fran will definitely cover that. Over under 46.5. And then we've got KC hosting the Buffalo Bills. This one is 1.5 point favorite. Has the Chiefs, and the total over under is 48.5. So we're expecting a little bit of scoring in this one. Should be a very good game to watch nonetheless. I'll definitely take the Chiefs in this one. I don't think that the Bills will be able to prevail, especially with the season they're having. They're at 500 right now at 6-6 this late in the season here in December. So I don't see them having a shot on the road against KC, especially after KC's loss against Green Bay last week. That was very astonishing to a lot of folks, but I am one of the few that I think picked it correctly, but I know a lot of folks were surprised. And then Denver flies into Los Angeles to play the Chargers, electrifying Southern California. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. The over-under in this one's 43.5. This is tough. I'm inclined to take Denver, but they kind of laid an egg last week at Houston, so this is a toughie. I'm gonna call the upset. I think Denver's going to be able to do this on the road. They're going to kind of take circle the wagons, and they're gonna be able to pull this one off on the road. So I'm gonna call the upset for Denver on this. And then Sunday night is another game of the year where you have the Eagles, fly birds fly, flying right into the heart of Texas. The Dallas Cowboys are 3.5 point favorites in this one. Total over under 51.5. I definitely like the Cowboys at home. Philly, of course, lost last week. That was a little bit of a surprise to everyone. Certainly anyone in Pennsylvania, I think, to San Francisco. So I think the Cowboys will have a definite shot here against the Eagles. So going to go with the Cowboys. And then Monday night brings us 2 Monday night games. First time since early in the season that's occurred. We have the Tennessee Titans traveling into South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee is a 13-point road underdog in this one. The over-under is 46.5. I'm going to take the Dolphins. Of course, the Dolphins are my team. I think the Dolphins will prevail. 13 is a fat line, even at home, but I guess they're expecting that the Dolphins will be able to take care of business rather easily here. So I'm not sure about the line, but I definitely take Miami straight up. And then the other Monday night game brings the GBs of Green Bay traveling into New York to face the Giants. GBs are 6.5 point favorites. I don't think the Giants have a shot, even though they're at home against the GBs here. I don't think they have a shot at all against the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers, I'm definitely going to pick the Packers at 6.5. I think they will cover that as well. So that concludes these picks for this week. And based upon the trivia that we asked you at the beginning of the picks this week, the picks video, it's been 30 years. 1993 had 3 games that were all cold weather related, and that's what drove the point spread down into the 29s and lower. Tonight's game with the Steelers and the Patriots is not expected to get below 45, I think, Fahrenheit. So it should be a real slugfest there in Pittsburgh. We'll see you again next week. Hopefully we get a little bit further up the 60% win percentage. We'll see you then.